Good morning, everyone. I'm Willow Bay.
And I'm Bill Ritter. Welcome to Good Morning America Sunday. We've got a lot going on
We sure do.
this morning. Did you see that picture of the set?
Yeah, because it's action-packed in here, and we have occupied basically every inch of the place this morning. We have so many activities going on. But right now, we're really nice and cozy, and I'm kind of happy about that.
You are this close?
I am that close.
To Mr. Kenny Loggins.
Kenny Loggins.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us.
It's good to be here.
You have a new CD. You've got a new book. You've got a special coming up on A&E. You're going to sing some songs for us.
And dance too.
Is that what it is?
No.
20 million albums you've sold in the last 25 years. So what do you get?
Something like that.
A penny a piece. So you've got a couple $100 stashed.
You need a loan or what?
This is great. We've rented me a guitar just in case you need.
Is that true?
No.
Okay.
We've rented it, but you wouldn't say yes.
Play something for us?
Thank you. Maybe a little later during like a commercial break.
Bill takes requests.
Exactly. And we'll be fielding some requests in your direction coming up a little bit later.
Okay.
Good.
We also have an exciting little segment. My kids like to play with these. These are the kids' version of what is really an interesting little toy, and it's hot. Bill Bodge is one of 6 Lego master builders here in the United States. He actually gets paid to play. This morning he's going to create something very special. Hi, Bill.
Do we know what it is that he's creating?
What are you creating over there, Bill?
It's going to be a submarine today.
A submarine.
We all live in a Lego submarine, right?
And
betcha.
He has less than an hour to finish that.
Yeah, the pressure's on Bill
But he
Bodge.
does this for a living, so this should be a snap, right?
Yeah, sure. Look at that. He's going to get started anytime. Bill, good luck to you.
Thank you.
We're going to be watching your progress. Also, because it's fall, we thought we'd be very timely and fast forward to spring. As in spring fashion, Lori Hibbard is here, and this last week was at New York's Fashion Week. Pretty exciting?
It was very exciting. It was my first fashion week. I went for one full day, and that was quite enough for me. But I've got all the news. You'll be just surprised to see what we're coming up with next spring.
Great. What's hot for spring?
Little capri pants, and I'll tell you more a little later.
Great.
Also, a little something special for Bill Ritter that I picked up along the way.
A pair of capri pants?
A little something more special than that, even.
All right, as we said, a big show, and we'll get to all you in a few minutes. First, though, we're going to start with some news headlines. And we begin this morning in Baghdad. Once again, this morning, Iraqi officials turned away American members of the UN arms inspection teams. Now, Iraq has warned it will shoot down tomorrow's scheduled UN spy plane mission if it is flown by Americans. Baghdad has complained that the U.S. is using the inspections to plan military strikes, and it says it plans to make its case tomorrow before the UN Security Council here in New York. Well, this week marks the 2nd anniversary of the assassination of Israeli Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin, and last night, more than 100,000 people gathered in the square where he was shot. It was a time to mourn and to reflect on the changes his death has brought to Israel. Here's ABC's Clay Scott.
An estimated 200,000 Israelis turned out last night to remember Yitzhak Rabin. The former prime minister was assassinated 2 years ago at the Tel Aviv square that now bears his name. It was in this same square that he gave his last speech minutes before he was shot. "Friend, you are missed," the signs read last night, and "We will not forget." The huge crowd was both somber and angry.
The atmosphere is now not of hope, but of despair.
We feel that the people is separated in 2 parts, and from the outside, we feel that all the Arab world is against us again.
Yitzhak Rabin's murder by a right-wing Orthodox Jew opposed to the peace process clearly traumatized Israel. But the event also brought into sharp focus the deep divisions in Israeli society, divisions that are even wider 2 years later.
Actually, very little has changed since the assassination of Rabin. It is the same society, divided as it was before the assassination, facing the very same problems, unable to solve these problems, unable to reach an agreement on how to solve these problems.
In the past 2 years, those problems have included a growing conflict between religious and secular Jews, a conflict that has at times turned violent. New violence has also broken out between Israel and the Palestinians. Dozens of people were killed last fall in riots over the opening of a tunnel in Jerusalem's Old City. And when Israel started construction last March on a controversial Jewish housing project on disputed land in East Jerusalem, the peace process was brought almost to a standstill. Last night, in the square where Yitzhak Rabin lost his life, the 200,000 Israelis who came to pay him tribute stood still in a moment of silence. It was also a moment of personal reflection for many who wonder how or when the divisions in this society can be healed. Clay Scott, ABC News, Tel Aviv.
The Chinese government exerted its influence yesterday and changed the course of the Yangtze River. The dramatic undertaking was the first major step in the construction of the Three Gorges Dam, the largest Chinese construction project in 1,000 years. The government calls the dam a triumph of Chinese socialism, but not everyone is celebrating. Here's ABC's Jim Laurie.
Even by Chinese standards, it's a massive propaganda effort. Every night this week, Chinese TV has been promoting what it calls the dream of the nation, the world's largest hydroelectric dam. This weekend, there were 14 hours of continuous coverage as many of China's top leaders marked a celebration of the start of the final phase of construction. The government out to persuade its opponents the dam is a good idea, the key to developing China's interior. Opponents even inside China call it a national disaster. It will cost $25 billion, damage the environment, and force people all along the Yangtze River to leave their homes. This is the town of Fengdu. In Chinese mythology, it was called the City of Ghosts. It will now live up to that name. The entire town will be submerged as the dam forces the river waters to rise. More than 60,000 people will lose their homes, some of them more than 1 million, who will have to be resettled along the Yangtze. Several hundred towns along the river will be moved to higher ground. Many people here, particularly those who earn their living from the land, say they feel cheated and aren't afraid to say so. Farmer Hu Ye-sin is building a new home, but he's had to pay most of the costs of moving out of his own pocket. I don't know how I'll pay my debt, says Mr. Hu, because the new land I'm being given isn't good enough to grow anything. Many people along the Yangtze seem resigned to their fate. They don't have much choice now but to simply hope the government's dream of the nation does not become their personal nightmare. Jim Laurie, ABC News on the Yangtze River.
A Pulitzer Prize-winning reporter says John F. Kennedy lived a public lie. In his book, The Dark Side of Camelot, Seymour Hersh says the JFK White House was a hotbed of sex, bribery, and corruption. The Kennedy family dismisses the book as fiction. It goes on sale tomorrow.
Perhaps as early as tomorrow, a Massachusetts judge will decide the fate of Louise Woodward. She is the 19-year-old British au pair who was sentenced to life in prison last week for murdering the child in her care. Now, court watchers say it would take a legal miracle for the judge to change that verdict. But in Elton, England, Woodward's hometown, her supporters have not given up hope. Here's the BBC's Clarence Mitchell.
In Louise Woodward's home village, the campaign to clear her name and bring her back to Britain took to a playing field to declare her innocence. The 19-year-old supporters well aware that the judge's decision over her future could come on Monday. And in this most contentious of cases, yet more controversy. This was 8-month-old Matthew Eapen, pictured in hospital shortly before he died. The harrowing photo was released by his parents. Their supporters say it was done to refocus attention on the child they lost rather than Louise Woodward. But critics accuse them of trying to influence the judge's imminent decision over whether Louise Woodward's murder conviction will stand, be reduced to manslaughter, or overturned altogether. There's also criticism of an advert placed in a British magazine by the au pair agency that employed Louise Woodward, promising young women an exciting year in the USA. It's being attacked by nursery nurses for omitting to mention childcare. The agency says recruits are fully informed of their responsibilities. While Louise Woodward's campaigners await the judge's decision, British childcare experts are renewing their calls for nanny and au pair agencies to be properly regulated. Clarence Mitchell, BBC News.
Now, the first public word of a decision in the Woodward case will come, believe it or not, over the internet. Because of the intense interest in the case, the judge has decided to email his decision directly to news organizations, which will then post it on their websites. Of course, you can always find the latest news on abcnews.com, on the internet, and on the World Wide Web. What a very controversial
now,
and
the
bold
website,
move.
because he was so worried that, the courtroom was going to be stampeded?
Inundated with reporters. We'll get
so
the word
now
out that way.
the internet will be
stampeded. Yeah, right. It'll come crashing down.
It'll be interesting. Well, when we come back, cosmetics executive Evelyn Lauder and her efforts to help women fight breast cancer. One of my favorite people.
You used to work for her, right?
I used to work for the Estee Lauder Company.
And we, in fact, even resurrected
We have an old picture.
Long before
when I was their model and spokesperson.
Elizabeth Hurley.
And this really is a family-run company. This ad was shot in Evelyn's dining room, and that's her antique candle collection there.
Look at that waist. What did you have, a size 8 waist there?
Yeah.
You only have a 9 waist now. I think actually, what do you think, guys? She looks better now.
Okay,
yes?
okay.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Evelyn Lauder will be here to give us a tour of her unique breast cancer treatment center. It's become a model for others around the country. We'll be back.
You do look better now.
This year in America, a new case of breast cancer will be diagnosed every 3 minutes, and a woman will die of the disease every 12 minutes. But thanks to early detection, for most women, the prognosis is quite good. This morning, we bring the story of a passionate advocate who is waging a campaign to fight breast cancer. These days, she's making it her mission to keep women healthy, but you may know her as someone who spent most of her life helping women to look better.
Yes, and a little darker eyebrows. Okay, just a little bit. Would you let her do that? Just to define them a little bit more.
She's the senior vice president of the Estee Lauder Companies, the largest family-run cosmetics business in the world.
You've got 20 or 30 pairs of shoes. Why not have 20 or 30 lipsticks?
But these days, when Evelyn Lauder travels, she's more likely to be fundraising than selling lipstick.
About 190,000 women a year are diagnosed with breast cancer.
As president of the Breast Cancer Research Foundation, she helped raise $1.6 million this year alone for breast cancer research.
We who depend on women for our life's blood want to do something by giving back a little bit.
For Evelyn Lauder, that means the Evelyn H. Lauder Breast Center at Memorial Sloan Kettering Hospital in New York City, a place designed for state-of-the-art breast cancer treatment.
We have mammography, we have surgical consultation, there is oncology, as well as physical therapy.
While doctors focus on the medicine, Evelyn focuses on creating a warm, nurturing environment.
I'm a marketer, and I consider this to be like the mall of medicine.
And no detail escapes her attention, not even the color of the examining gowns.
What's the matter with the maroon? Doesn't go with the carpeting. You could get sick. Because women notice these things. All the chair fabrics work with each other. And if you need another chair, you're not going to get an orange chair in here. If I had to look at an orange chair, if I were a patient here, I would get sick.
It's got cozy waiting rooms, even a special boutique. All under one roof.
All under one roof.
She's even turned her marketer's instinct to the art on the walls. Photos of nature she's personally chosen, or in many cases, even taken herself.
In the Oriental Feng Shui philosophy, having a lot of water is very, very good. And so when people are paying, they have opportunities to look at all the water that in the waterfalls here.
And Evelyn Lauder joins us now. How important are those details to a woman's recovery? I mean, we know how important the state-of-the-art medical facilities are at Sloan Kettering, but how important are those other details that you really pay so much attention to?
We know ourselves better than men know us. And when Leonard and I were first going skiing together, he wanted me to buy orange and white striped underwear to go with a red jacket. I said, I can't do that.
I can't ski that way.
I can't ski that way. You know, you have to understand. But women understand this, but sometimes men don't. And for Memorial Sloan Kettering to have given me the opportunity to select fabrics and wall chips and the tile on the floors and the carpeting was very important to me for them to have allowed that to happen, so that the Memorial Sloan Kettering Breast Center that's over there really is harmonious.
And for women to get a feeling that, wow, somebody really thought about me. They didn't just think about my disease, but they thought about me.
Not only about the patient, but also about the visitors who accompany the patient, who have to wait while the patient is being examined or taken taking her mammography. And so I've received letters from husbands who say it was such a relaxing atmosphere. It felt like a spa, and it relaxed my anxieties as well. And that's really the point. It's lowering anxiety, making you feel spiritual.
One of the things your research foundation does is fund research at other hospitals, but you also commissioned a study about women's perceptions about breast cancer. What did you find?
Well, we discovered a great many perceptions were incorrect.
Really?
Today in 1997.
Like what?
Well, for example, 70% of most women believe that if they even find the smallest lump in their breast, that they may have to lose it. But in fact, only 30% of women might have to lose the breast. That means out of 100 patients, 70 women will maintain their full bodies.
What do women fear most?
I think that's what they fear.
It's losing the breast. And chemotherapy?
I suppose they don't understand that today chemotherapy, which we call systemic therapy at the breast center, is in fact much more tolerable, far less uncomfortable. People are able to function very, very well, and they're not nearly as ill as it used to be many years ago.
Major progress.
But I think that this is why I am so grateful to you for helping women hear about the changes.
Wonderful. Evelyn, thank you for joining us. First, most important thing, early detection?
Early detection, self-examination on a monthly basis, and only go to a center where the mammography unit has been certified by the Food and Drug Administration.
Great. Thank you very much for joining us. And when GMA Sunday returns, sexy, star-studded circus of New York's Fashion Week. We'll be back.
Good Morning America Sunday is brought to you by Kleenex Cold Care.
In New York this week, as you can see, the stylish sat chic to chic in the showrooms of Fashion Week. And who better to send there to cover it than our own Sunday contributor, Lori Hibbard, the fashion maven herself, right?
Yeah, fashion novice. But I think that's one of the reasons I went, because I was very interested to see what Fashion Week was all about. Yeah. Luckily, I had a great guide. Her name was Polly Mellon. She's a fashion guru for years now. For more than 3 decades, she has flexed her incredible fashion know-how in magazines like Harper's Bazaar, Vogue, and now Allure magazine, where she is a creative director. And for Polly, maneuvering Fashion Week is second nature.
Our first stop was the Ralph Lauren show. Because Polly's Polly, she got a great seat. I was relegated to the overflow room. But I tried to make the best of it.
Okay, first impressions of the show.
I loved it. I loved his introduction of that blue. A little blue turtleneck sweater on Carolyn Murphy. I love it.
After the Lauren show, we met up with Polly as she picked out clothes for her magazine column.
Great.
Now this one here, they
I don't want it.
as an alternative.
Don't want it. Not going to use it.
Are people looking at you going, I wonder what Polly's wearing today?
Yeah, I think so, maybe. At least that's what they say.
She also showed us her runway technique.
You have to be very natural.
Next stop, Michael Kors.
Pretty good seats. For a woman who doesn't care where she sits, this is a pretty good seat.
Oh, no, I care where I sit.
What did you think of Michael Kors?
The clothes are beautifully made, but I would have liked a few more surprises.
The next show started with a bang. It was Cynthia Rowley, and I was excited because I actually had a seat at this one.
I really thought it was sweet.
Sweet, yes, but definitely not tailored for well-endowed women.
I'm very, very ample, and it sort of is hidden.
We're sharing too much here, I think. Cut.
My final show of the day was Susan Lazar. While Polly tried to find our seats, I picked up a few souvenirs.
Why is it that some clothes that you see on the runway, you know you would never see, first of all, someone wearing that on the street, or you'll never see it in the stores?
Because a few clothes are done for the runway, for sometimes shock effect, or because it's a showbiz thing.
Too sheer.
Much too sheer. Too elusive.
Backstage with Susan Lazar, Polly was a bit more diplomatic.
Who did your beading? Is that Indian?
It was done in India.
It's
No,
wonderful.
the beaded fabrics are fantastic.
Wonderful.
9 p.m. and that was it for me. But Polly had to hit the Halston show. I don't know how she does it.
Wow.
Don't know how she does it. Like I said, she's full of energy.
Now let me play the skeptic here.
Okay.
They bring these new fashions out. They did it a year ago.
Yes.
Buy these clothes for spring, and then they say, no, that was last spring. Buy a whole new wardrobe.
Well, it has to change. I mean, you can't wear the same haircut, the same mini skirt length, the same anything
From
any year.
1985 maybe, but from 1997 to 1998?
Absolutely. Well, it's a big business, Bill. I mean, there's money involved too. That's what keeps it all generating and going.
See, that's what the bottom line is. Money. God, naive little me. Tell me, if you can't afford those gowns, which I'm sure
And
were
who
more
can,
than 15,
yeah.
20 bucks probably.
Well, it's interesting when you go to the fashion shows because you get a sense of what's in style, and then you take, say, the gorgeous Calvin Klein or Ralph Lauren outfit, you haul it over to Filene's basement, and you see what you can get there.
So there are alternative ways. You don't have to be super thin and super rich to dress nicely.
No, you just have to be creative.
Okay. What's hot?
What's hot? Capri pants are going to be hot next year. We've got a lot of sheer, so wear your camisole underneath. Although it's okay to show your undergarments.
Yeah.
It's kind of.
I usually wear my camisole underneath.
Yeah, knee-length skirts and a little something that we picked up at the Cynthia Raleigh show for you. Close your eyes.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
La la la.
Open them.
And if they're too big, let me know.
Yeah, I
and
can't
get you
wear that.
another size.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks,
you
Lori.
are.
Nice job.
No, yours.
When we come back, Kenny Loggins, Footloose, with a new CD.
You're going to be playing a little for us?
You think so? I
Yeah.
think so, probably.
Oh, there you go.
In our next half hour, Kenny Loggins is going to play a song from his new CD for us, but right now he's agreed to take some requests, something that he's going to do on November 12th. It's part of an A&E special called Live by Request.
Right, Live by Request.
He's following James Taylor, Tony Bennett. This is big time.
Yeah, this looks like a fun show.
What is it exactly?
Well, the idea of the show is that the entire country, live, they can call in and request a song, and it's a 2-hour show for me where I can talk to the people, and they'll give me a story about why that song matters to them or something. We'll get into it a little bit, and then I'll play that song.
And what if you don't know it? Seriously, what if you don't know a song?
Then I'm planning on saying, I don't know that song.
No, that's a good thing, honesty.
Kind of like we do when you say to me, what is it? And I go, I don't know.
Yeah, like that, only a variation of that.
Yeah, so are you going to, can we test you out here?
Okay.
Now, they're only Kenny Loggins songs, right?
Right.
Oh, okay. So
I don't know, well.
But you can go
all
ahead
the
and do your
Beatles
first
catalog.
request
Oh, the
because
first
you've been
show.
obsessing about this for days and
My
days.
children love Winnie the Pooh.
Uh-huh.
And I loved your song when you first sang it, and it's sort of been resurrected. So you got to go ahead and play this. I dropped it here.
Now,
Winnie the
we
Pooh,
just want like a chorus of this, or
Oh,
what?
give us half a minute. Yeah.
Half a minute, that much.
Go ahead.
Christopher Robin and I walked along under branches lit up by the moon, posing our questions to Owl and Eeyore as our days disappear all too soon. But I've wandered much further today than I should, and I can't seem to find my way back to the wood. Help me if you can, I've got to get back to the house at the corner by one. You'd be surprised, etc., etc.
It's great.
How about Footloose?
Footloose, okay. That's a little harder on acoustic guitar.
Okay.
How much time we got? We'll take him off. He'll take us off the air. Go ahead.
How's it start? Now I gotta cut loose, footloose, kick off the Sunday shoes. Please, Louise, hold me off the mountains. Come on, you gotta sing along. Jack, no one knows the words of this. Come on before we drag, lose your blues. Everybody cut footloose, footloose.
Wow. That was really great. The Pooh Bear was here. And all those of you who were at the bathroom or something, or at the refrigerator, we had Kenny Loggins singing by request. It was fun.
It was
really great.
And he's going to sing some more.
A lot more. All right. So we else have more fun today. We have Legos. Where's my Lego? Can you get that?
Yeah, sure.
Someone once said, if it were fun, they wouldn't call it work. Well, there are several people, only a half a dozen in the country, who are paid to play all day with this stuff, Legos. If it sounds like a fantasy to most of us, it is very real, and Judd Rose went looking for the men who make this stuff up. There's one of them, Bill Bodge, right there, building his yellow Lego submarine. Judd, are these guys as fun and party hardy as they sound?
Party hardy?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure I want to judge
word
that.
choice is what you were
Yes.
saying there, Judd.
They're kind of blockheads, you might say.
Blockheads, I like that.
You know, but
Bill Bodd, did you like being called a blockhead?
Oh, I don't mind at all.
Yeah.
No.
I mean that in the
Bill,
most
how are you
that's a
positive, loving
compliment.
sense,
Wait, let's
Bill.
find out how Bill is doing over there. You've been building a submarine. How's it going?
I'm going fast and furious. Seems to be coming along okay.
You have a little less than a half an hour left.
I do.
For it to be completed, so you might want to.
Uh-oh, my watch stopped.
Okay, you might want
No,
to.
no.
Exactly.
We're telling you what the time cue is. You're gonna present a report on who these guys are, why they do it,
Where
and
they do it and how it happens.
and the ins and outs of Bill Bodge over there.
Yes.
All right, all that coming up in a couple of minutes. But first, we are going to talk about another first in Washington, a presidential precedent last night. Bill Clinton spoke last night at a fundraising dinner for the Human Rights Campaign. Now, that is the nation's largest gay group. Mr. Clinton was the first sitting president to appear before such an audience. ABC's Carla Davis was there.
After an ovation that lasted a solid minute, President Clinton gave the country's largest gay and lesbian political organization what it has been fighting for: very public validation.
We all know that there is continuing discrimination against gays and lesbians. But we also know that if we're ever going to build one America, then all Americans, including you, have got to be a part of it.
Halfway through his speech, Mr. Clinton was forced to defend his record on AIDS funding when a heckler confronted him.
People with AIDS are dying!
Outside the fundraiser, members of the group ACT UP also protested. Gay and lesbian groups have differed with Mr. Clinton on several issues, such as legislation he signed last year meant to prevent same-sex marriages. The president did not mention Ellen DeGeneres in his speech. She ignited a nationwide controversy earlier this year when she and the character she plays on television came out of the closet. Last night, the Human Rights Campaign presented DeGeneres with an award.
And so if by standing up for what I think is right makes me an activist, I'm an activist.
This event alone is expected to raise nearly $400,000. The HRC gave more than $1 million during the last national elections, much of it to Democrats, and is expected to be a major force in the year 2000. Carla Davis, ABC News, Washington.
And Sam Donaldson joins us now from Washington. Good morning, Sam.
Good morning, Willow.
So, Sam, how big a deal is this that the president spoke at the HRC fundraiser?
Well, it's a pretty big deal from the standpoint of the controversy and the historic moment. This is the first sitting president to openly come before a gay and lesbian group of this size and give a speech from the podium. Of course, you have to sort of feel a little sympathy for the president in the sense that he was trying to walk that fine line. He spoke. We have his pictures. We just saw him, but he left before Ellen DeGeneres spoke. And he never had his picture taken with Ellen. You recall when Vice President Gore made his statement a few weeks ago about it's a good thing she came out in her television show because it gave Americans an opportunity to talk about the issue. He was almost inundated with controversy.
So he was it was a baby step in some ways then.
Well, it was a historic step. I don't want to take anything, I mean, you either think the president did a brave thing or a foolish thing, but he did do it. And I don't want to take that away from him. We're going to be talking with Ellen's mom, Betty DeGeneres, this morning and today on This Week with the Cokester and George Will. Also with Elizabeth Birch, who is the head of the organization to which he spoke. And we'll be talking to Bill Bennett, the conservative philosopher whose book of virtues, you recall, was a bestseller and who does not think that it was a good thing that the President of the United States showed up last night.
Now, one of the things apparently that the president asked for in his speech was that he called on Congress to pass some legislation to protect gays from discrimination. Is it at all likely that we'll see something like this go before Congress anytime soon?
Well, it's going to go before Congress, but I don't think it's very likely that it's going to pass. As you know, there are places in the country and states in the country that there's a battleground over legislation about gay rights. You would think that all Americans are protected in their constitutional rights, but there's a battleground state by state, Colorado and elsewhere, on whether, in fact, they are protected in every sense. It'll go before Congress, but Willow, I think it won't be on the front burner.
All right, Sam, thank you as always. Very interesting show. You've got
See you later this morning, right?
Okay, exactly. Take care, Sam.
Good.
GMA Sunday continues right after this, but first a look at the nation's weather.
In the Sunday forecast, a cold front will produce snow from the Rockies to the Central Plains. Showers, even thunderstorms possible in the Northeast, and on the West Coast, skies will become cloudy with a chance of showers later today. It will be cold across most of the plains. Highs there only in the 20s to 40s. In the northeast, highs will be in the 40s to 50s, and in the southeast, they'll reach into the 60s and 70s. In the west, temperatures will range from the 50s to the 70s. Now, for more on your local weather forecast, turn on your computer after the show, of course. Check out abcnews.com, on America Online, or on the World Wide Web. And GMA Sunday will be right back after this.
Good Morning America Sunday's Weather Report is brought to you by Cigna Corporation.
That's a custom-made sign, that GMA Sunday sign. All morning we've been checking in with that man right there, Bill Bodge. He is a master Lego builder. He is working on his Lego creation. It's a giant submarine. We're going to check in with him in just a few minutes. We're going to walk over there, actually, with Judd Rose, who is going to tell us exactly what these guys do all day at the office. What are they like, Judd?
Well, I'm going to tell you, Bill. In fact, let's start off by raising this to a literary plane. You know, it was the poet Wordsworth who said, "The child is the father of the man." Well, nowhere is that more true than the place that we're going to take you now, where you might say that the workday is child's play.
All right.
Here in the small town of Enfield, Connecticut, just down the road from the Massachusetts border, are a half dozen people who love their job. You might say they work in construction. No, not that kind. This kind. Building with Legos, those snap-together plastic bricks many of us used to play with.
You know, I tell people it beats working for a living. It's just a lot of fun to be in here. It is every kid's dream.
But this is not kid stuff. Francie Berger is crew chief of the designers who are paid to build these breathtaking creations.
Well, we can do anything. There's really nothing that I can think of that we couldn't produce if we had enough time.
See for yourself. There are capitals, castles and creatures, balloons and beetles. They can even turn square pegs into round holes.
The creativity is obvious, but is it art?
Yes, definitely. You know, Leonardo would have been using it if he had it back then, you know?
You really
Michelangelo,
think so?
exactly. You know, I mean, it's today's sculpture.
Today's sculpture is tomorrow's advertising. All of these will go on display at toy stores and at Lego theme parks in England and Denmark, where the toy was born in 1932. In fact, the word Lego is Danish for play well.
Here in Connecticut, at Lego's American factory, they stamp out more than 2.5 billion of these plastic parts every year in almost 2,000 shapes, sizes, and colors. All in all, not just another brick in the wall.
It starts with these tiny plastic beads. They're fed into a red-hot molding system and then come out to cool off. Then they're boxed, shipped, and sold, except for those that stay here and end up in the hands of this elite group of artisans. Bill Bodge is one of them.
The weekend before my interview, I went to a toy store, bought a bucket of brick, and sat down for about 48 straight hours, learning as much as I could about it. And in the course of that 48 straight hours, I made the head of Theodore Roosevelt.
Tough stuff for the average blockhead, but designer Steve Gerling says that's beside the point.
I mean, the whole idea is to not say, these are bricks, this is what you can do, that's the end. The whole idea is to say, you can do anything you want with these.
Another Legoland is opening near San Diego next year, and there's a big display already at the Mall of America in Minnesota. And here, the bricks will continue to click.
Is this a lifelong career?
Oh, absolutely. I fully expect to retire from Lego, and I know that everybody that's currently working for me does as well. Where else could you go?
Now, we should point out that all of the Lego masters have some previous experience. Some were sculptors of the more traditional kind, others were graphic artists, and most, but not all, played with Legos when they were kids.
So, what did Bill Bodge do?
Well, there's Bill. Ask him.
Oh, son of a gun, what a surprise. What, did you play with Legos as a kid?
As a matter of fact, I didn't.
You did not?
No, Legos were not readily available back in the dark ages when I was a kid.
So you're not reliving your childhood, you're living your childhood.
I had a lot of building sets when I was a kid and enjoyed them, and that gave me a little bit of experience with working with building sets. Nothing like this, though. and I'm comfortable with it. I'm very
Now,
comfortable.
this is a strange profession, nothing personal, but you know what I mean.
Take it in the good way.
And
it's strange.
Yeah, take it in the most loving, affirmative way. And one of the strange things I noticed when I was up there with you guys was that instead of coffee breaks, you take banana breaks. What is that about?
That's an old tradition, goes back many, many years, I understand. And it's the proper nutrition for working with brick.
Did you eat a banana before you built these two things? Let's take a look at these.
Yes, I did.
All right,
Yeah.
what are they? What are they?
This is an octopus.
Wow. Interesting.
Absolutely beautiful model by one of my compatriots, Steve Gerling. And this is actually an item that's going to be included in a show that we're doing, Ocean Adventure, that's going to be touring the country at the National Children's Museums.
How many blocks are in here?
Just a couple thousand, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long would this take to build?
Probably about 50 hours, 60 hours,
All right.
somewhere around there.
This is your Lego submarine. Very nice. What is it? Any nuclear weapons on board?
Absolutely not. No, that's
Good.
that's
Good.
totally
we don't like that here.
Totally not Lego.
All
no,
right.
no, it's meant to be fun, colorful, and exciting and informative, I think.
And you're winging this, right? You're winging this.
I'm pretty much winging it. I had a good idea what I wanted to do and worked a few things out ahead of time.
Now, how does this stack up against what my daughter did yesterday in about a minute, huh? Pretty good, huh?
That's great.
All right, Bill
That's great.
Bodge, Judd Rose.
It's
Thank
the
you.
Judd Road I've taken.
When GMA Sunday returns, ready for Kenny Loggins?
Absolutely.
Just Breathe, it's called. It's more than good advice. It is a new song from Kenny's new CD. We'll be right back.
I read something I can never understand. Oh, now I believe there's a God watching over me.
How do you sing without moving your lips like that? That's amazing. Yeah.
I'm working on it.
Yeah, good. That's good. Kenny Loggins has been here as early as we got here this morning?
You were here, what, 6 o'clock?
6 o'clock.
Unbelievable.
A smile on your face and that beautiful sound coming from your voice really early this morning.
Yeah, well, don't get used to it.
You know, as half of Loggins and Messina, Kenny Loggins recorded 2 platinum and 5 gold albums during the 1970s. When they parted ways, he began a solo career, and since then he has collected 4 more platinum albums, along with 2 Grammys, 2 Emmys, an Oscar nomination, and now an appearance on GMA Sunday.
And he has, in the middle of all of that, you just completed, you've just completed this CD called The Unimaginable Life.
Yes, and there's a book that goes with it, too.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Extraordinary.
Congratulations.
Why don't you introduce us to the guys who've been playing here with you all morning?
Well, on my right is John DeFaria, and behind me is Rock Diedrich on percussion.
The Rock.
And on bass and vocals, the always lovely and talented Kevin Wyatt.
Now, a lot of people, 25 years you've been in the business, 20 million records. I hope you saved some money in the bank. But a lot of artists, seriously, have been around a long time, do not continue to record new material, write new material. Is it tough to, people get it? We ask you to sing, Pooh Corner and whatnot.
Right.
To mix the nostalgia with writing new stuff?
Well, it's a balancing act, People have important moments in their lives where these songs seem to score. Children are born to, like Pooh, and weddings, and even funerals. I even get email from people who use the material in funerals. So, people have grown through their lives with my stuff. I'm glad about that.
Good.
Well, we're glad you're here. We're going to have you stop talking and start playing. So you're going to play Just Breathe.
Okay.
All right. Kenny Loggins.
3, 4. I read something I could never understand. The soul shivered to deliver me to unimagined lands. And there you were. I asked for something that could catch me by surprise, to leap to the belly of the beast and rip me up and bring me out alive. And there you were, into your eyes, I'm falling right into your eyes, hurricane, into your eyes, I'm coming home. I'm holding on, I'm letting go, I'm flying free, oh, the land of the prophecy, on my future's blue. Oh, I pledge my life, all I am to be by your side. Then you whisper that all you need of me is just to breathe in every other lover's eyes. Keep it up, keep it up, keep it up all your life. In the line of duty we can never do enough. I am surrendered, I am ascended on love. I'm flying free o'er the land of the prophecy. All my futures before my eyes, and oh, I pledge my life, all I am to be by your side. Come and take me, my father's son, newly born as a chosen one. Now he kneels at your feet, my love and Lord. I pledge my life, all I am to be by your side. Come and take me,
Good Morning America Sunday is brought to you by U.S. Postal Service.
Okay, just a couple of program notes before we go. Later this morning on This Week with Cokie Roberts and Sam Donaldson, President Clinton's precedent-setting speech on gay rights. And we'll hear from Betty DeGeneres, mother of Ellen DeGeneres, Bill Bennett, and Elizabeth Burchin tonight on World News Sunday, a controversial look inside the Kennedy White House book by Pulitzer Prize-winning author Seymour Hersh.
And through the magic of videotape, here is Lisa McCree with a preview of Good Morning America.
Monday on Good Morning America, part one of our series, Out of Harm's Way, a parent's guide to keeping your children safe from crime. Bruce Willis on his new movie, The Jackal, and sports columnist Mike Lupica is mad as, well, Monday on Good Morning America.
This is sort of like the GMA house party. Remember that old Art Linkletter show? Yeah.
Really early
No,
morning.
I'm not Art. No, Art's not here today.
So now, Evelyn, I'm wondering, have you arranged the breast cancer benefit concert with Kenny Loggins yet?
We
Is
were
that-
just about to arrange it right now.
That's why you're here,
Donating
Kenny.
Putting the
his
touch
time.
on me at this moment. Yeah.
Right, at early in the morning, you can't say no.
Yes, I can. Try me.
On national television. This is pressure now. This was so nice of you both to come here. And Lori and Judd as well.
What about Judd?
No, I said that. But a special treat to have Kenny Loggins and Ms. Lauder here. Did you have fun? Did you enjoy
I
it?
had a wonderful time. Thank you. I had a great time telling everybody about that, and I also brought some fragrance here so
Because
that
you are, in fact, everybody's been talking about this.
Did you know this, guys?
What's called in the business the nose.
She is the nose of Estee Lauder.
I don't know about the word nose. That is a truly well-educated nose. I'm what they call a very good picker.
You're a good picker.
I'm a good picker.
Kenny's a good picker too. We heard him play earlier.
I usually grin while
What is he picking?
Why don't you explain a little bit what the nose means when we say that?
What a nose is in fact somebody who can tell a perfumer exactly what essential oils to put in by name, and they have to go through a long testing process to be able to identify about 400 or 500 different fragrances, and that is extraordinarily technical.
Willow said you can tell what people had for breakfast. Is that true?
Oh, that's true.
Can you? What did they have for breakfast?
A little cinnamon and yogurt.
My goodness.
Is that true?
Well, the yogurt part's right, but maybe it has
I can
cinnamon.
smell the yogurt.
Wow. That is amazing. I can smell this. That's all I can smell.
That's
What did you have
that's
for what did you
Clinique
have for-
Happy.
No, you don't want to know.
Willow, try Tommy Girl. Oh, we have to get this started.
We're going to get out of here. Thank you all so much for joining us. Kenny, Judd, Lori, Ms. Lauder.
Thank you.
Thank you very
See you
much.
next week, everyone.
Bye-bye.
So what's the predominant scent in
Is one of
this?
them a men's and one of them...
This is Tommy Girl.
Judd, that is you, babe.
And-
That is you.
The top
That
note,
isn't that pretty?
bottom note.
Is that Tommy Girl? This is Tommy Girl. But this
has a
is
citrus
Pleasures
thing
for Men.
Kenny boy. That's what they're going to call it.
Have to prime it. Here, you.
Oh, I'll have some, okay.
Pleasures from May.
Now what do they have for breakfast?
Now I can't tell.
Making perfume again,
And you try this.
No, Judd, this is you.
That's a classic.
Yeah, I like
Isn't that lovely?
Actually, I like
This
that.
is Pleasure's food.
I'll take
Oh, that's very nice.
It's very interesting. Yeah, and I don't wear this stuff. You know.
I don't.
So, Will, you bring some capris for us, Laura?
No, I didn't bring any capris. I brought
I have this.
some foot
Here,
foot
look at this,
scrubber
Jenny.
for Will. Try happy.
America Sunday has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source. ABC News, now always on.